We shouldn't take too long on this, but I'm just excited to share with you some of the things going on with the foundation, and hopefully that can equip you in the great work you do in connecting with people on about the beef industry. So if I haven't met, I work as the education director with the American Farm Bureau Foundation. The headquarters is in Washington, D.C., and I am based out of Northern California. We are a nonprofit organization whose goal is to equip volunteers and other educators with resources to connect people to the agriculture industry. And in this case, specifically the beef industry. We've been fortunate enough over the last couple of years to have some beef checkoff funding that is provided for development of events and also some resources. And so I'm just excited to give you an update on where we are with those. For some of you, this will be a little bit of a review, and for others, it may be the first time you've been exposed to these resources. But if you want to follow up with me, feel free, Jenny, do feel free to share my contact information, but I'm going to type it in the chat bar right now. I'm the Education Director at fb.org, and we're primarily going to be on foundation.org as the main website today to just show you where these resources are. Feel free to jump in with any questions or toss them into the chat bar too, and make sure that I can address questions that you have. So can you see this picture? I got a picture of some participants on a big hill overlooking a valley. Is that true for anybody? Thanks, Susie. Good to see you.
I had to turn the sound on first.
Hey, that's okay. Oh, there's lots of buttons to push.
Yeah.
Sometimes share the wrong screen, and then it's just boring if you're looking at my inbox. So glad the right one is showing up. But we just wrapped up this last week our first on-the-farm STEM experience of the year based out of the Los Angeles area. This is a picture we took on Tuesday of last week of our participants, and this just an incredible event. This is through checkoff funding, brought in 25 educators from across the country. These are people who are in teacher training roles. So some of these folks are college or university teacher educators. Some of them are district level STEM coordinators, really focusing in that science, technology, engineering, and math. Others have organizational training roles. Brandon, who's on your far left of your screen, he does all of the STEM outreach for NASA. So he was one of our unique participants there. And if you go to Dr. Cockerham, who's all the way on the far right of your screen, he's a professor of education and climate studies. And he was, so we had quite a variety of educators who attended. And our whole goal was to expose them to the beef industry, to say, from an education standpoint, check out the science, technology, engineering, and math. It takes place every day in the beef industry, because we'd love for you to use that as a context to educate your students and your teachers. And the other thing from an industry standpoint was to reach these key influencers in education. I know I've got former teachers in this group, current teachers who may be on this webinar right now, and parents. We know the influence that educators have on the choices our kids make, and we want them to have a positive experience in the beef industry. And so that was our goal. This picture is taken from the historic Tejon Ranch in Southern California, overlooking the San Joaquin Valley, after they had just spent quite a bit of time on this cow-calf operation, and just had a pretty incredible couple days with them. The next event is starting this Thursday in Boston, and then we have a third of going on in Orlando this summer. So I want to draw your attention to, you guys are on Twitter. If you search hashtag, if you want to follow along with this journey, if you log into your Twitter account, or you don't even have to log into Twitter, you can just go to twitter.com, and if in the search bar, type in hashtag BeefingSTEM 2017. And I just blow that a little bit in the chat.
Let me know if there's anything that needs to be changed. All right.
So if you got that hashtag BeefingUpSTEM 2017, you'll see anything that people posted at this event that was related to the event. And so we had people posting on their way home from the event. If you scroll down kind of to the original experiences, you'll see this through the lens of the participants. And this is a pretty, for those of you who are facilitating events beef events. It's to one, track your impact, because we're able to take a lot of data from the hashtag by searching anything anybody posted about the event, but also a fun way to look at it through the lens of our participants. So you see our participants, we were at Animal Health International talking about beef health and pharmaceuticals. They got a chance to get in a shoot and get worked just like cattle and learn about stress and safe and calm handling of animals, which was pretty eye-opening for a lot of these guys, and they were posting about it. And also spent some time at Harris Ranch, which is one of our biggest feed yards, and to learn about environmental management, nutrition management, and care of animals from that experience. So if you want to follow along the journey as we jump into the Boston event starting this weekend, and you want to see what's going on in Boston, just follow that hashtag BeefingUpSTEM 2017, and you'll see what those participants are posting there. I thought I would start after that. I was just real excited to share you that piece, but I thought I'd start just on our homepage and make sure you knew how to navigate to where the resources are that we have for beef. I put this in the chat bar, but if you go to agfoundation.org, and then from agfoundation.org, if you go to the resources tab, your section, Learn About Beef. And this hub for all of our check-funded beef resources. You can go to have kind of a one-stop shop for these resources. And so I'm going to do just a quick walkthrough of what's out there and answer any questions if you have. And then I'll show you a couple new ones that we have in the works as getting ready to roll out here shortly. So on this page, you'll see we have a free app and then also 2 online games. These are based on the My American Farm platform, and these were done 2 years ago through funding from the Checkoff. Grocery Lab is a nutrition game. Really, the goal there is to really become confident consumers of beef, to understand the nutritional qualities, but also how to select the right cuts at the grocery store. I have young kids, and my favorite thing was after working on this for a couple months, we went to the grocery store, and my daughter said, "Look at that marbling, Mom." And I said, "That's right. You've been playing grocery grab, haven't you?" And that's the goal. We want to train a generation of kids that are confident beef consumers, and really that's the goal of that game. Stakes Are High is a life cycle game, so it walks them through the process from cow-calf operation all the way to feed yard, really integrating some math standards in that. And you can access those straight from this website or do it on My American Farm. I'm going to jump to My American Farm real quick. So this is myamericanfarm.org. I'm going to go to check out all the games. And you'll see these beef games. So to low grocery grab. And this is something you can do with students on a big projector, or you can have students working. You can talk to your local school and say, "Hey, add this to your list of favorite websites on your school computer lab so that kids can go to My American Farm and play games." I know that's how it works in our local elementary school, that they have a home tab on their computers that just links to their favorite websites. And so this is a chance for them to play some games. And so resources are available, also in app form if you want the All About Beef app. Just a little bit, I know many of you are familiar with the AgMag format, and this is a newsprint style reader really targeting that K through 5th grade age. All interest level is much broader than that. It is written at a 4th grade readability. We have this free e-reader version, and so you can click if you want to view this and read with students, with your families. You can do this kind of like an online magazine. But and the other option is if you say, "I want to buy a class set of these for my local school," you can buy them on agfoundation.org, printed in the newsprint style, just ready to go. And so this is just a fun reader, really to help support the need that teachers have for nonfiction reading for their students with the new Common Core standards, while introducing them to some important information in the beef industry. And on the back page, the list of suggested activities. These are just some fun things you can do to add to the discussion in the classroom. to our main here. So one thing, we're on the agfoundation.org website with the Learn About Beef resources section. And below that, we have a family guide that does support the AgMag, but then we have a volunteer guide and some templates that go along that, my hope is that these just save you some time. I know that you wear many hats in managing your own operations and then volunteering and educating others. And if there are pieces that you can pull from this volunteer guide or these templates to speed up your process, that's the goal, so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'll show you real quick just on kind of looks like. Some of you I know have seen this already, so this came out 2 years ago. It's a volunteer guide, which is just a free download, 4 lessons in it, K-5, and then there's one that's targeted for older students in that 6 to 12 range. And then each of the lessons have just everything you'd need to do the activity with students, so the copies that you would make for the classroom. And then the templates we left in Word document format. So if you see here on this Beef Volunteer templates, you can download the press release template, a letter to the school. There's a timeline in here just really to try to help have your foot in the door with classrooms, but also to just that process for you. Several separate kind of standalone lesson plans. These were built to support those themes on My American Farm. So the stage is set for beef and beef up your nutrition there. School resource kit. This has kind of so think more hands-on with less direction, less scripted direction than a teacher would have in a classroom. These are more kind of these fun, quick activities to just engage students and bring in the concept of beef. We find them for after-school programs, but honestly, you could use them as your starter activity for just about anything. So if you're, say you're hosting an event at your ranch, or you're going into a local elementary school, you could take one of these fun kind of hands-on activities. Like there's a trail mix activity where you get to build your trail mix, and it introduces the concept of how nutritionists form rations for cattle. Just kind of some fun, quick activities that you could do as lead-in to whatever your bigger presentation is. I want to jump into a couple other of these kind of big resources here, but before I do, I know I've been talking for a few minutes. Are there any questions or thoughts I can address here before we transition?
Real quick, I tuned in late, and I don't know what website you're coming from. I'm just, so are you referring to something on Texas Cattle Women?
Yeah, so great question. Thank you for asking. So we're on agfoundation.org.
Agfoundation.org, okay.
Yes, and if on agfoundation.org, now are you looking at your screen right now? Are you able to see the shared screen?
No, I am not.
Okay. So I'll just kind of recap, just walking through this for those who may be calling in. You go to agfoundation.org. Go back to that. I'm going to go back to that for those of you who are watching as well. If you go to agfoundation.org, on the top menu bar, there's a section that says Resources. Almost directly below that is a button that says Learn About Beef. And for you find that.
Sorry to jump in, but those of you that are jumping on, besides and the view the presentation later, in the section we'll also have the links directly, so you can just go to them. So if you're trying to frantically take notes, know that the web page and the contact information will also be included members only section once we get the recording uploaded.
Cool.
I'm listening on the phone, and I'm on the website now. This is Sharon Bryant. I did not sign up. I didn't see it till this morning, so it's too late.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Sharon. Awesome. Any questions?
I'm on the farm now, so learn about me. Is that where I'm supposed to be?
Good, where you're supposed to be. You're in the right place. Awesome. well, jump in to just kind of give you a highlight of these other pieces, and then let you know kind of what's coming down the pike as well. I wanted to share with you this Immersive Experience Toolkit that we put together. So this is, oh gosh, about 3/4 of the way down on that Learn About Beef page if you want to download it, but I'm going to pull it up as a PDF real quick just to show you what it looks like. Let me pull to the right window. So we did our first Immersive Experience series last year through Checkoff funding. We did 2 pilot programs. We brought in a group of children's book authors to expose them to the beef industry. And then in our first pilot group of these STEM educators, kind of like the event you saw that we just had last week out of Los Angeles. And from that event, we said, gosh, we learned a lot of lessons. We'd love to package that to help others who may be doing this kind of on-the-farm experience. And so if you are, State Ag in the Classrooms do a tremendous job at this in many states. So if you're either running an event on your own or working State Ag in the Classroom, and you say, gosh, I'd love to just bring the teachers out from my local school and show them what we do in the beef industry in our area, I would really encourage you to take a look at this packet. It's a free download, once again, on that agfoundation.org Learn About Beef page. And essentially, it walks through the VASIS authenticity action. So kind of the reason we do this, creating your own experiences, and we have resources, a lot of templates we put together, a suggested agenda, a letter for state organizations, a template if you want to do an online application, a template for an acceptance letter, a confirmation form. If you want to do lunch with a farmer, which is something we did with our author experience, we brought in beef producers and paired them up one-on-one to just go have lunch and just to know people. It's a lot harder to judge and to have some hardline misconceptions when you realize that these are just people, and we care about our animals, we care about what we do, and that was the goal of those lunch with a farmer times. So that template there, but that whole goal is that you could say, gosh, I want to run an event, and I can start here to really save me some time. So show you real quick things in this creating your own experience section. We put some considerations. So if you're sitting down to plan this, here are some things maybe to guide the planning process as you think through, who's my target audience? Who am I going to engage on my team to be involved in this? And what is our goal with hosting an event where we're bringing key influencers out to experience the beef industry? And then suggestions on how to leverage social media, how to really create an intentional experience, and then also measuring impact. We recognize, because Checkoff funded, that often